All right, so here we're going to minimize c equals 16x1 plus 9x2 plus 21x3, subject to x1 plus x2 plus x3 greater than or equal to 12, and 2x1 plus x2 plus x3 greater than or equal to 16, with all the x's greater than or equal to 0. So first things first, we're going to have to first create our A and then find A transpose. Well, A is going to be what? Well, that's going to be 1, 1, 3, then 12. Then it's going to be a 2, 1, 1, 16. And then we're going to use the top row 16, 9, 21, and then a 1. And so this is our matrix. And the key piece here is we want to make sure we have that. And now we do A transpose. So this row becomes the first column. So that's going to be a 1, a 1, a 3, a 12, then a 2, a 1, a 1, a 16, and then a 16, a 9, a 21, and a 1. And so now that's our A transpose. And again, if we put in our stuff here, and so remember, this was x1, x2, x3, and now these are going to be y1, y2. So these are kind of like our new variables. And so what we need to do now is make the dual problem out of the A transpose. So the dual problem is going to be what? Well, it's going to be maximize P equals, and then we look at that bottom row, 12y1 plus 16y2. And it's going to be subject to, and then we have on our top three rows, we have, looks like y1 plus 2y2 is less than or equal to 16. Then we have y1 plus y2 less than or equal to 9. And then we have 3y1 plus y2 less than or equal to 21. And here, y1 and y2 greater than or equal to 0. Now we have to convert the I system to an E system by adding in our slack variables. Now this time our slack variables are going to be what our original variables were. And so now we do this and we get y1 plus 2y2 plus x1 equals 16. Then we have y1 plus y2 plus x2 equals 9. And then we have 3y1 plus y2 plus x3 equals 21. And now take everything here to the other side. So we get a minus 12y1 minus 16y2 plus our p equals 0. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is this is also with now we have to add our all our y1, y2, x1, x2, x3 greater than or equal to 0. So that's kind of our final thing there. And so what we need to do now is convert this e-system into our initial tableau. So no room on that page, so let's go to this page. And so our initial tableau, we're going to have y1, y2, x1, x2. Whoa, what happened here? X2, x3, p. And then we have our slack x1, x2, x3, p. And so now we have was 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, 0, and then that was a 16. And then we have a 1, a 1, a 0, a 1, a 0, a 0, and then a 9. And then we have a 3, a 1, a 0, 0, 1, 0, and then we had 21. And then we have our negatives, negative 12, negative 16, 0, 0, 0, 1, and then that was a 0. Okay, well, let's change our color here. That's going to be our biggest negative. And so over here, we can have our quotients to figure out which column goes out. And so we're going to take 16 divided by, or which row rather, 2, that's equal to 8. We have 9 divided by 1, which is 9. We have 21 divided by 1, which is 21. So it looks like this row is the one it's going to be. So if we circle that one in red, that's our pivot element. And so this is going to enter, and this one is going to exit. All right. So now let's see what we have for things we have to work on. So we'll have to make this one a 1. So we're going to take 1/2 row 1 and replace it with row 1. Then we're going to have to take a minus a half of this row plus that one, minus half of this one plus that one to make those zeros. So we'll say a minus 1/2 row 1 plus row 2 goes to row 2, and a minus 1/2 row 1 plus row 3 goes to row 3. And then if we take 8 times row 1 plus row 4, that's going to be our new row 4. All right, so I think that's all of the things we have to do. So now let's redo it. So now we have y1, y2, x1, x2, x3, p, and then our line. And so this was entering, so that's going to be a y2, and then x2, and then an x3, and then a p. And so that's where we're at. Now we just take half of that first row. So that gives us what? Well, we get a half, a one, a half. Oops, that's gonna look kind of funny. We better get rid. Oops, I'll erase, please. Maybe not. Why won't you erase? Whoa, erased everything. I think. Yes, it did. All right. Well, let's start over then. So let's go back here, put our thing in. So apparently it wasn't writing any of that whole time I was doing anything. So, I'll pause and I'll come back after it's all written in. Okay, so at least we got the tables redrawn. So now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and finish this. So we were doing half row 1. So we have, that's going to be a half. That's going to be a 1. That's going to be a half. That's going to be 0, 0, 0, 8. And then we're going to take a minus the row 1 plus the row 2. And so minus that plus that's going to give us a half. That's going to give us a 0. That's going to give us minus a half, a 1, a 0, and that's going to give us a 1. Then we're going to take half of that and do that. So that's going to give us what? A 5 halves. And that's going to be 0 minus 1/2, 0, 1, 0. And that goes to 13. Now we take 8 times that first row, so that's going to be what? Minus 4, 0, 8, 0, 0, 1. And that's going to be okay, 128. All right, so now which one's the biggest negative? Well, it's that one. So now our quotient is going to be 8 divided by, and it's going to be half, so it's going to be divided by zero point 0.5, so it's going to be times 2, so that's going to be 16. And here we have 1 divided by zero point 0.5, so it's going to be a 2. And then we're going to have 13 and multiply by the reciprocal 2 over 5, so it's going to be 26 over 5. So it looks like that's the smallest. And so that means what we should do is circle that one. And so we're going to base all of our calculations there. So we're going to take 2 row 2 goes to the new row 2. And if we take minus row 2 plus row 1, that can be the new row 1. And if we take, let's see, how about a minus 5 row 2 plus row 3, that could be our new row 3. And if we take, it looks like 8 row 2 plus row 4, that's going to be our new row 4. All right. So that's what we're going to do on the next page here. And so when we get that done, oh, we better write enter and exit here so we don't forget that. So that one's going to enter, and this one is going to exit. So it's going to be y2, then y1. So we're going to have y2, then y1, and then still x3, and then our p. And we have y1, y2, x1, x2, x3, p. And so we'll do that. And I've changed colors on my table, but that's okay. And so now we're going to minus half now. Okay, so that's going to give us a 0, a 1, and then a 1, and then -1, and a 0, and a 0, and a 7. This is going to give us a 1, a 0, a -1, a 2, a 0, a 0, and a 2. This is going to give us a 0, a 0, a 2, a -5, a 1, a 0, and an 8. And that'll give us a 0, a 0, a 4, an 8, a 0, a 1, and that becomes 136. Now, notice, I guess we can, let's do it in, I don't know, purple here. These are all positive, so we stop. And so now, remember, this is our min, C is equal to 136 at, and then we have go down. X1 is equal to 4. X2 equals 8, and X3 equals 0. Okay, and so that would be our solution to this one. All right, so let's go and do another one after I take a break and make sure we don't have a mess again.